Today I got a MSI GS63 Stealth gaming laptop. I'm going to do some cloning, open it up, then do some upgrading, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So let's get at it. Morning guys, Dale here. This morning I got a MSI GS63 Stealth gaming laptop. I got to do some upgrading and I'm going to do some cloning. Of course, the first thing I'm going to do is clone. I'm going to tell you basically what I have here. Currently, this model has 16 gigs of DDR4 memory. We're going to increase that to a total of 32. I'm going to put in two 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 memory, total of 32. Currently, it has a 256 SATA M.2 SSD, and we're going to bump that up to a Samsung 970 EVO NVMe SSD, 1 terabyte, because he's just about out of space on his current SSD. He's got like 30 gigabytes of free space left. This model has the GeForce GTX 1060 graphics, a 1 terabyte traditional hard drive in there for storage, has the 8th generation Core i7 8750H processor, and of course a full HD display, backlit keyboard. Nice gaming laptop. But it's the GS63 Stealth 8RE-010 US. That's the exact model number. So what I'm going to do for cloning today, because he's got a lot of data on here, he can't lose, and a clean install is kind of out of the question. So I'm going to use Samsung's data migration software. I'll have a link down below where you can go and download it. It's free. You just go to their website and go to their support and downloads. It's pretty easy to find. So I already got it installed on the computer. And what I'm going to do is I have an enclosure here, an NVMe enclosure that you can put all the different size M.2 drives in. I've had really good luck with this enclosure. Again, I'll have a link down below where you can get one of these. They're a little expensive, but they're very, very good. You can also use this for an external enclosure, just to put an SSD in, like an external drive. So I'm going to take my 1 terabyte EVO here, and I'm going to plug it right in. And there's no tools. It's got a little rubber grommet here. You just pop it over the grommet, holds it in. You can move that grommet for the different size of M.2 drives. So we're going to lock it in there. First thing I'm going to do is plug it into a USB port. It's USB 3.0. It also comes with a C-type USB, so either or. So I'm just going to pop it in. And I've already done all my prep work for cloning. I like to disable anything I can that's running in the background through the configuration utility and any non-Microsoft services just during the cloning process. You can turn off or disable all that stuff, and of course when you're done you can just go turn all that stuff back on. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Samsung data migration. Like I said, I've already installed it. And once the cloning process actually starts, I won't bore you with watching that whole part. Alright, so it's asking us to select a source drive. We're going to, in the drop down list, it's obviously the SanDisk SATA M.2 SSD. And our target drive will be our Samsung, so we'll hit the drop down and it's showing up right here. And this is, you can see how full it is, and this is what we're going to end up with when we're done. And next thing you got to do is go down right here and just click on the start button. And your computer will be shut down after data migration in 20 seconds. It's just letting you know that any data you have on your target drive, if there is any, it's going to be gone. I'm just reading this. Yes, I want to continue. So we're going to let this get started here, and then I'm going to pause and come back when it's just about done. Then I'm going to open it up and install the new memory, the new SSD. Now the port, it's got one M.2 slot in this model, and it's supposed to be a combo slot for both SATA and NVMe SSDs. And once I get inside, you'll see what we got to do that. It's pretty intense. So I just want to let this get started here. We're still at 0%. I'm sure it's just gathering. Alright, so we got it started here. I'm going to just let this go, guys, and I'll be back when it's just about done, and we'll get inside and see if we can get the new parts in there. Be right back. Alright guys, just about at the end here. We're at 99%. Just about there, and once this is all done, I'm going to unhook my little enclosure here with the new SSD, and then we're going to get inside. Now it's pretty intense once we get inside what we have to do to put these new upgrades in. So I just want to walk this right through to the end here. I wanted you to see it. There's a lot of different cloning methods, and I have a lot of different videos on cloning using lots of different software. This is of course the Samsung data migration software. Don't use it a lot. Typically we do our clones on our cloning station here in the shop. It goes really quick because we do so many every week. But I like to do these demonstrations in my videos so you can kind of see what's going on. %. Come on, give us 100. But really one of the most important things that I found with cloning this type of method here, you know, in the computer to outside the computer through the USB, is to disable all the background apps and programs that you can, so there's not too much going on in the background during the cloning process. Just experience tells me you have better luck when you do that. Alright guys, it just finished. It's going to shut down here any second. Didn't want to bore you with that 99%, sorry about that. So once it shuts down, we should be golden, hopefully. But honestly, I won't know until I get the drive in the computer and turn it back on. Alright, so we're all shut down. So I'm going to disconnect my USB enclosure, unplug my power cord, and all of our power lights are off. Alright, so now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to remove all the screws. We're going to get inside and you're going to see what we got to do to put our new parts in. Alright guys, I got it flipped over. I went ahead and I removed all the screws. Just try to keep track of your screws so you can put all the same screws, you know, back in the same holes that you took them out of. So these bottom panels typically come off really easy. Let me get my little spudger tool in the corner here. Should just pop right up, I believe. And before you get into your laptop, guys, seriously, before I even take off the bottom, make sure you're protected against static discharge. Wear an anti-static wristband, an anti-static mat, or both. Just be conscious of that. First thing I'm going to do when I get in here is I'm going to remove and disconnect and remove the battery. My bench tops and my floor, it's all anti-static, and this is all scratch proof. You can see it lifts right off. Alright, so here's our battery. There's probably going to be some adhesive on the bottom of it, so but right here's where I'm going to disconnect it from the main board. Okay, and you can probably already see what we're going to have to do to get our new parts in there. So there, we got our battery disconnected. So let me get my little plastic tool over here, get the battery out of the way here if it'll cooperate. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Just be careful prying on it because it's got this little adhesive things on here. You don't want to be ripping your cables up. So I'm going to set the battery over here, but before I do anything else, I'm going to open it, and the power button is right over here on the side. I'm going to hit this power button a few times. I want to discharge any residual juice that's in the circuits in there. I'm just going to hold it in a bunch because I have to take the motherboard out. Alright, so we got to disconnect all kinds of goodies here. So first thing, I got the battery out. Let's get the hard drive, the 2.5 inch mechanical hard drive out of here. I'm going to lift this tape up here. And I got to take my little pointer. We're going to flip these little levers up, as you can see. Going to disconnect that. Comes right out. Should be able to lift that right out of there. So there's our hard drive out of the way. Won't need those parts for a while. We have to disconnect going to try to leave this tape in place if possible, because we want to make sure that all goes back on. I'm going to flip this one up, disconnect this from the motherboard. This is for our LEDs along the front here. Alright, so I got that. I know last one, I'm going to take this I/O board out on the side here with the USB ports and the audio. So I'm going to take out a screw right here, because I'll show you in a second. And just keep track of where all your screws goes, guys, when you take them out, so you know where everything goes. Alright, the speaker's kind of in the way here, but this should lift right out of here. Okay, the speaker I got to bend back out of the way because there's a wire. I'm going to go ahead, actually I'm going to disconnect this over here. I'll show you. I get this tape up. This is very delicate work, guys. You just got to take your time. So I'm going to flip this up, because we got to disconnect it. Come on. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to pull this out. It's on top of that other one. I'm going to leave this connected to my I/O board here. And this white cable underneath is connected on the bottom side of the motherboard, so I'm going to disconnect it over here. Right here. It's just easier. Flip our little lever up. Slide that out carefully. Oop, see, we're caught. Okay, be difficult. There we go. So that comes out over there. Put that with our screw. Got to get this tape up as carefully as possible, guys. I'm going to put my speaker back over here for now. Got to be really careful with this stuff. I know my hand's going to get in the way, but alright, so now I'm going to put this lever up. So goes your touchpad. Alright, so we have to disconnect this one. And we're going to pull this little guy out. Just like that. Just want it disconnected from your main board. I'm going to leave that tape right there if I can. Plug this little guy. This is our speaker connection here. We should be able to wiggle that out. Not too much trouble. I get both my hands in there, guys. Sorry. Come on. There. So we have that. Our CMOS battery is connected right here on the bottom, the other side of the motherboard. If possible, I'm going to want to leave that connected so it doesn't, if I disconnect it, it's not the end of the world, but it's going to reset all my CMOS BIOS settings. I'm going to see if I can get this up here, because I know they use glue or adhesive on here. So there, now we can stick that back down when we're done. Get that out of the way. We have a little guy right over here on the end. It's for our power button. Flip that up carefully. These cables are very tiny, so be careful. Pull that out. Alright, so we have that. We got these. A lot of stuff. I'm going to leave this white cable connected, just kind of slide it out under this cable when I take out the motherboard. Then this little guy right over here. Let's see here. I'm going to get this tape off over here. Got to get that off of there. I'm just going to stick that right on there. We got another lever we got to flip up here. It's hard getting a hold of these. Alright, let me go grab a different tool, guys, just a second. Alright guys, I just had to get a pointier tool here to get this flipped up, which I did. So now, it's probably glued on here, so very carefully we're going to pull that out from the board. Alright, well, that was easier than I thought it was, so we can leave that, I believe. Now I got to get this tape up here, if possible, because I am going to disconnect this one, and I'm going to take this little other I/O board out here with my Ethernet, my SD card reader on it. I got to get the Wi-Fi card out of there, and this is going to be a lot easier if this isn't in the way. So we carefully pull that up. Should be able to take that right out just like that, guys. So we'll set that over there. Over there. And now the Wi-Fi card. It's nice to be able to get this out without disconnecting your antenna wires. I have a tool that I made that I can put those antenna wires back on with, but it's still a little tricky. So if I can keep them attached, that would be a good thing. So one little screw for that. We're just going to kind of jiggle it back off the motherboard. It's connected right there. Got to flip it up a little bit. Not much to get a hold of. This little rubber guy's in the way here. Jiggle it. So I'll just put that off to the side like that. Alright, now we got to take out the main. I believe I got everything here. I'm leaving the CMOS. We got here. There is one more in the back here, guys. If you can see it all the way in the back here, where this trim piece is. Got to get that tape up. It'll let us. I'm gonna flip ooh, that one came right up. Got to get that guy out of there. So just be careful, like I said, when you put all this back in, you got to make sure nothing gets caught down underneath your motherboard, so you don't have to take it out again. So we got that disconnected. Now I believe there's 3 screws over here we have to remove. This one here for the fan, one here, and one right here. So let's get those out the way. Again, it's just important you try to put all the same screws back in the same holes. In case you got different lengths you're dealing with. If they're all the same length, it's not that big a deal. That's my Wi-Fi. So we got 3 there, then we got 3 over here. We got one right here, one right here, one right here. And if you want, what some people do is they take a little marker here, and you can mark your little holes here on the motherboard, because sometimes they give you extra holes where there's not a screw. So, but in this case, we only got 3 on each side, basically. And I believe all these motherboard screws are going to be the same length. Is Milo being good? Hey, cameraman, missing all the action. Brought along the helper today. So all these screws are the same length for the motherboard and this fan here. But like I said, if you want, you can put little black marks on them here, so you remember where to go. Alright, so when we lift this board out, we're going to start on this side, because we're going to kind of lift up and jiggle it this way because of all the I/O ports, USB and HDMI and all that good stuff. So let me see where we're at here. Got that disconnected. Got that. Got that. Got that. Oh, you know what? I think this trim piece has to come out back here. Yes, it does. Forgot about the little trim along the back here. Just got to make sure we put that back on when we're done. So let's see, that motherboard kind of goes right to the very back there. Alright, so I'm going to carefully just watch for any resistance here, guys, when you're doing this. And we're stuck on our tape here. I don't think there's tape. Just a second, I got this tape in the way here. Put that there. Just gotta take your time. I think I got all my screws. Where am I? I just want to make sure I didn't miss a screw here. I don't think I did. Just got to be careful. Try that again. Just kind of jiggling it away from these ports over here, because I know, come on, there, it's starting to come now. We're a little stuck right there. There we go. Alright, so I got some glue here on this little bad boy. Alright, what's holding here? I knew that had to come off there. Alright, so now we're going to work this underneath very carefully, guys. So I want to leave that attached if possible. We just got to remember to thread it back underneath there, and there's our CMOS. So get that out of the way. Alright, so there's that, and over here is where all the fun stuff is. So here's our RAM, here's our M.2 SanDisk SATA SSD. So let me get my Samsung EVO out of here. Awesome drives. Just one little screw right here holding it in. Take this one out. Put this one in. And just handle your motherboard with care, guys, when you're doing this, obviously. Come on. Get in there all the way. And don't put it super tight, just gently snug it. It's not like it's going to go anywhere. Now we're going to remove our two 8 gig sticks of Samsung DDR4 2666. And we're going to put in our Corsair 2666. But a whole lot more, double. Just make sure everything's in good, because you can see what you got to do to get to this. You don't want to have to do it twice. Make sure it snaps in good. Get a click here. Just a second, let me do that again. I just want to make sure. There. Alright, well, that took all of 30 seconds. We got our new SSD and our new RAM. I'm going to go clean these fans real quick, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I just wanted to blow the dust out of my fans here. So now we got to put it back in, kind of in the reverse. So let me get my little pad out of the way here. Alright. You don't want to use, I don't recommend using canned air on this stuff either, because sometimes moisture comes out with it. That wouldn't be good. I have an air compressor in the back. So now we got our everything secure, hopefully. First thing I want to do is run this back up underneath here. carefully get that back over there in our CMOS battery. Now the fun part. Get my tool. So now I'm going to start over here where the ports are and see if I can kind of jiggle it back into place. Make sure the ports all line up good, which that looks good. So while I'm holding it up here, I have to get my cables out here on top. Actually, that was like that. That one's gonna fall out. This little guy. You can see how it would be handy to have 3 hands. There's that third hand I've always wanted. Get that out. You just got to kind of work it down. That should be good. My CMOS battery. I want to get this guy out of here. And we have to get back down past these little rubber doohickeys here. Okay, we're back down over here. Kind of just went back into place. Just make sure everything's out that's supposed to be out. Boom, boom. And that we're good on. Now our Wi-Fi card. Just make sure I'm down back here, guys. Looks pretty good. This is our LCD cable. You want to be very careful not to bend or twist any of these ribbon cables, I call them. So while we're back here, let's try to get this bad boy hooked back up. Let me grab my little tweezy weezers here. So make sure everything's back in all the way. Which it is. Put my tape back on there. All right. So we're done back there, it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and just work my way around here. Putting these back in. Come on. Sorry, guys. There we go. And just be gentle on these clips when you push them back down. Get my tape. I believe that was right over that, like that. Now, Mr. Wi-Fi. This little rubber guy, you can kind of move out of the way here. All right, so we got that back in, all right. Put our screw back in. And we didn't lose the antenna wire, so that's good. Oh, I need that again. Gotta get that tape out of the way here. This just double check, make sure your antenna wires didn't come off, which they didn't in this case. Now our speakers here. These should just gently snap back in. That's in, that's under there, that goes over there. Just can't go in a hurry when you do this stuff, guys. That's all. It's mainly common sense, I guess. Goes without saying. These cables back in here is tricky sometimes. Ooh, that one went right back in, all right. So that's good. Our keyboard. main keyboard connector. One of these cables here for the keyboard is what they call for ghosting. Alright, just got to make sure they're in there straight. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Just a second. I think that's alright. And one more over here. Usually just kind of fall right back into place, typically. Tape out of the way. Ugh. Come on. Alright. And we got this guy over here. Our hard drive goes into this one right here. Just like that. Won't press that down yet because I have to hook up my hard drive cable. And this microscopic one over here. I know my hands get in the way, guys. Sorry, but come on. Not quite there. Come on. Just a second, I gotta twist it here. Not happy with the way that looks. I think that's in there all the way. What do you think, cameraman? Look good? Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks, man. Now our CMOS battery, I'm going to try to put back in place here. I believe they had this running. Looks to me like it was bent like that. I guess as long as it's in there, it should be all right like that, I believe. All right, now going to put, what am I missing here? Might as well do this one first, I guess. Little I/O board back in here. And another good tip I like to give everybody is use good tools, guys. Use good quality tools, good tips. Use plastic whenever possible, poking around in here. I know we got to connect this one. Put our little arm up. I should easily go back into place. Tape's in my way. There it goes. Nah. Alright, we'll put that tape back on there to protect it. Alright. It's our SD and Ethernet. Now we got to reconnect this little guy. So it's going to go like that, so we have to get our, sticky. I'm just going to cheat and hook that bad boy back up just like this. Carefully push that back down. So it's right up to the line there. And that goes right back in like that. Oop, my battery, my bad. Right, let me grab, I just want to grab a different tool, guys, real quick, right back. Alright guys, I just misplaced my favorite screwdriver, sorry. Anyway, gonna put this screw back in here. This hole here is covered by, when you put the bottom cover back on, it'll take care of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back on. And just make sure the ports look good, which they do. One more over here. Get my tool out of my hand. Come on. Yeah. There we go. Ah, that tape. I just don't want to booger up the tape if I can help it. Get up there. Alright, let me just look close at that to make sure that's in all the way I think it is. Yep, that looks good. Alright, so one last perimeter check here. Wi-Fi, our I/O board, screen, this cable. Okay, I'm gonna pop my hard drive back in over here. Maybe. Pretty straightforward here. Put that back on in a second. Come on, get on there. There we go. Lock it down, cover it back up. Alright, that's in. I believe that was underneath there, just like that. So that's under there, that looks good. Don't want any of these to be kinked. Alright, now I'm going to put my motherboard screws back in. We had 6 of those bad boys. Start right over here with the fan. Okay. You being good, Milo? Having a ball? He likes hanging out with us, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so I got these 3 back in over here, guys. One right underneath here. And we got one over here in the corner. Make sure it goes down all the way. And we got one over here. Make sure that's down all the way, guys. Oh, that little guy came out on me. I gotta fix that. I just want to make sure those ports are recessed and they're the way they're supposed to be. Alright guys, I just realized that I made a boo-boo. No big deal, I fixed it. Remember when I told you to take out the screws, put them back in the same holes? Well, gotta listen to my own advice. I put my mark on the wrong hole here. The last screw I put in over here doesn't go here. It goes actually right here. You have one here, and one here. I got distracted and I put the mark here. It should have been over here. This hole here is actually taken care of with the bottom pan here. So anyway, I moved it. It wasn't tightening it up and I'm like, what the heck? So I moved it over here. All right, actually the cameraman help me out with that. All right, so we got that back in there. Good job, buddy. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do, I believe, one more quick perimeter check here. Make sure everything, nothing's pinched, everything looks solid. All right, now we're going to reconnectorize the battery. This is pretty straightforward here. We're going to just plug it right back in here where it came out. Make sure the cables are all down good. And we're good. This pretty much only goes in one way, guys. Get it started. All right, carefully lay it back into place. Make sure it goes back in. Just kind of gently wiggle it in. Not too much force. Right up to the line there. Looks good. Push our wires down a little bit. Alright, so before I button it all back up with the screws, I'm going to do a quick dry run here. Alright, now be gentle when you do this, because maybe your battery and your hard drive are just kind of there. Open it up far enough so we can get it, hopefully, to come on. There we got our power light down there, and it might take a minute. Oh, posted it right away. Sometimes it takes a minute to post with the new RAM and the new parts in there. Don't panic. We got our happy circle going down there. Just want to verify that I got a good clone, that's all. Got our welcome screen. Boom. Alright, so now we can do an upside down shutdown. Actually, I'm going to do a hard shutdown. No big deal. Alright, so it's completely off. I'm going to carefully close the lid again, and I'm going to, everything looks good. So let's put the bottom pan back on real quick here. Got to get our trim back in back there as well too. A whole lot of snapping on this. Okay, the screws are going to hold that in, so now, alright, so this, I'm sure I have to put this in ahead of time. Alright, I believe this kind of goes in like that. It kind of goes in and then down a little bit, guys. Just got to make sure it's got them rubber feet on there. It doesn't want to slide. It connects to our back here, which it does once I screw it down. Alright, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put all my screws back in. Then I'm going to turn it on one more time just to make sure. So bear with me just a second while I put the screws back in. Alright, guys, I buttoned it all back up. We got all our screws back in. One final boot. Open it up. Get my power button over here. Just want to double check the SSD and my memory. So check out more of my videos. Again, I have lots of different videos on cloning methods. Had a good clone today with the Samsung migration software. Went fairly quick as well. Went really quick, actually. Now we got a faster drive, because the drive I took out was just a SATA M.2 drive. Now we got an NVMe PCI Express drive. So if we go, what am I doing? I'll take a look at our drive real quick. So there, now we got lots of free space. And here's the 1 terabyte mechanical drive that he already had, and here's our new Samsung 970 EVO, so we're good there. And if I just pop open Task Manager real quick, under memory, you can see that we have 32 gigabytes of memory at 2667 megahertz. So awesome. Everything went pretty good. Try the Samsung data migration software. Seems to work really good, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked it, give me a like. If you loved it, give me a sub. Y'all have a great day.